Cool. Now this welcome sign again with this snowman hand, which is totally white. Not tan on this hand yet because we are not in South Florida, how our precious guest today. And very, very honored, thrilled, and happy to welcome to our show Dylan Smith. Thank you so much, incredibly much for joining us on Saturday. But we know we people on mission, we actually don't have like weekends or actually like Saturday, Sunday. Okay, we still would like to have harmony and balance, but I know we are born ready and we always showing up. So thank you so much for giving me the most precious commodity. It's your time, presence, focus, being yourself. And today I'm kidnapping you for 1 hour for me. Sounds well?
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. And today, the title of our show is From Dyslexia to Global Impact, Turning Neurodiversity into Superpower. And I'm so excited because this is my jam, neurodiversity. I'm neurodivergent myself. I have OCD, and you have your mental uniqueness. And that's why we are here actually to spread our message and to make even more possibility to help other people by being a role model. So today I have the perfect role model. So welcome to Diversity is the Game Changer, podcast where diversity is not a checkbox, but a force that transforms our lives, leadership, and the future we're creating together. And today's episode is deeply inspiring and profoundly human. So I'm more than honored to welcome Dylan Smith, dynamic keynote speaker, dyslexia advocate, and touring motivational speaker whose mission is to ignite people, shift mindsets, and inspire action. So Dylan's journey is less beyond than powerful. It's a powerful testament to what becomes possible when we stop seeing difference as our limitations and start recognizing it as a superpower. So, drawing from his own life story, educational journey, experience in the corporate world, and of course, your lead reality with dyslexia. So, Dylan speaks with a rare authenticity and courage. So, through compelling storytelling and deeply reliable insights, Dylan bridges the gap between real life challenges and transformational lessons. So, through his keynotes and his mission to help million lives, Dylan continues to empower individuals to rise beyond labels, rewrite their stories, and thrive, regardless of the obstacle they face. So, thank you again for the show, like I've mentioned, and let's jump to actually jump. It's kind of related always with the future, right? But without our roots, without knowing where we came from, without our DNA childhood, which impacts a lot, we cannot be who we are today. And especially I know how many times you also bring this subject. So um, could you please take us a little bit backwards, because you're so young but so wise and mature, and tell us about your, I know you have very profound, very deep story. I've made my home lesson, but I want you to share us about the time of little boy, the name Dylan, and how was his childhood identity and seeds of becoming, and how it's impacted the life you're having now. Very inspirational one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I was grew up in a Russian orphanage where I was adopted for the first time with my twin brother, and we were brought to the States where we ended up having to battle with having an alcoholic father and being misdiagnosed with ADHD and put on medicine when I had dyslexia. And then in 2014 we were adopted again, and then when I was 16 years old, having being completely reevaluated and finding out I have dyslexia, being taken off those meds and having to catch up with my peers enough to just barely graduate. And then after I graduated, I worked for free for an entire year to build my skills and my network, and then landed a job at 20 years old at a tech firm, traveling the country doing tech support for the top financial clients in the world. And then one of my financial clients just recently picked me up a hedge fund and gave me my career on Wall Street. And working on Wall Street gave me perspective, knowing that I wanted to help others who might have struggled in one of my chapters of life, whether it was adoption or absent fatherhood or misdiagnosis or struggling with dyslexia. I knew that I had the tools, the powers, the connections, and the perspective to help people. So I said, I'm going to start to help people with my journey and whatever it was. And my passion was dyslexia because I went through such a crazy experience. So I started with selfie videos, which grew to Zoom interviews, which grew to an in studio podcast, which grew to speaking across the country. And now I am Dylan Smith, who sits before you.
Wow, what inspirational, deep, and profound story! And actually, it's so special, touching, and deeply resonates with me because I also could experience this addiction of my father, and he had this alcoholic addiction, and of course, impacted my life a lot. And that's why I was raised by a lone mother, and I made in Soviet, right? So we didn't have the chance to be identified, even misidentified, misdiagnosed. It was always a huge shame even to pronounce that somebody can have some mental issues, because it was no subject, like, now we can talk that the brain is the most advanced and important, of course, a difficult part of organ of our body, but before it was not a subject. It was never ever um, um, a theme to diagnose me. So, and I'm so happy how you could now turn what happened to you into creative fuel, into your strengths, and not just for yourself, but how you help other people by really being role model. And about orphanage is so powerful story as well. When I could discover, thank you so much for sharing it, because I have adopted two kids myself from
Oh,
Ukraine.
beautiful.
And it was from two different orphanages for kids with special needs, because I understood also that my mission and my purpose not to choose, the path of being victim what has happened to me, but at least I can do something real for another people, exactly what you are doing with your million lives purpose. And at least I started with two. I have two girls. They were babies, and now they are beautiful ladies, 16 and a half, and I'm so happy also that I kind of try to impact this world. That's why I approach to you, invited you, because you are also one of big role models for me as well. So thank you so much for sharing your brave story. And I want you, could you please give more advices to our actually youngsters? We are raising our age where we have so much influence of AI, right? And unfortunately, so many people now, even their best friends, it's chat GPT or something. And I know you've been grown up in small city, and actually you've been cite in one of your interviews that kids at your age, they have so much influences now. They try to get some examples who they actually should follow, and they try not try they're actually shrinking for the environment where they grow up. But it's so important not to do that, to be yourself, to keep your uniqueness. What can you advise to our youngsters, which role models they should follow, how they should keep their uniqueness as you did? Thank you.
I think the biggest piece of advice that I can give anybody is stay authentic, stay transparent, move with honesty and transparency. And if you don't know something, tell somebody you don't know it. There's no shame. I see a lot of people walk around with pride of I know it all and I got this, and that actually closes more doors on you than you realize. And walking around going, I don't know this. Teach me what you know so I can learn it and apply it is the most powerful perspective I've ever been given. And when you're looking up to role models, figure out why you look up to them. Do you look up to people because they're fancy clothes and their fancy cars? Well, that has nothing to do with the person itself, right? That's what you see on the outside. Figure out who has the results that you want in whatever you are chasing and why they might have those results and why you may want those results, and then apply it to your life. And don't exactly copy, but take strategy from people and try to make it your own, because you don't need to copy and paste the same person if that's not who you are. And if you try to portray yourself as something that you're not, it comes across ingenuine and non-authentic, which is them hard to collaborate with you or want to help you because you're trying to be something in someone that you're not. I think the biggest lesson I've ever learned is you are enough as is, no matter what clothes you wear, what job you hold, what title you are called, what house you live in, whatever car you drive. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that we are all humans and we're all in this thing called life. And all we all have to do is figure out how we can become 1% better today than we were yesterday. And how can we learn from this person? And how can we teach this person? No matter who you are or what you do, there's something you can teach someone and there's something you can learn from someone.
Exactly. I always do the same. I said in every interaction we are both students and teachers, and it's so powerful approach, right? So, and actually never fail, always a lesson. You mentioned the word self-love, and then it's so relate and connect with self-respect, self-worth. And again, so many people are struggling now, especially due to social media. They are comparing them so much, especially Instagram. It's really a thief of joy, because it was Einstein who said actually comparison is the greatest thief of joy, that many people really now compare themselves to this curated picture, deep fakes, chatbots, everything, which really lacks authenticity, right? uh, do you have any special, like, small hidden gems, tools, how you are training? Because it's muscle, self love, self trust, self worth. For me, I do believe it's a muscle which you have to train every single day, a little bit by little bit. Do you have any special small secrets or tools, like, I don't know, like stand present, meditation, or yoga? Everybody has to remind yourself and actually to train this self love muscle, because it's not, I don't think it's actually growing by itself. You should, like, this muscle we have to train every day. So self love muscle, I do believe we should. It's actually about me. How it's about you?
The self love muscle for me has been self care. So going to the gym, eating well, staying on top of what I said I would, figuring out how can I learn and what can I learn today, who can I help today. When I started all this, I said if I could make 5 people smile today, then I've won the day. And like that's been a project I've always lived by because you never know how something so small can impact somebody so greatly. So if
Mhm.
it's little as holding the door or pumping gas or giving a compliment, that for me personally, when I help people, it gives me joy. And when I give people opportunities, it gives me joy. So that is my outlet, other than working out every day to clear my mind. But I mean, as long as you work on you and support others, it's just going to come right back to you like a boomerang.
Yes, absolutely lovely. My mom, she gave me advice when I was a kid, like, Valeria, you know what? By filling your hands, uh, you can be a taker, right? If you want to be a giver, you should fill your heart, so you can always chase. And I'm trying also to feel always my heart by being a giver. So I definitely can see you nature that you're so um, huge giver, actually, and even in small details. And I know one also of your interviews, you've been um, it was very compelling to me that you say, like, I love I love in that your perseverance and commitment. You said, well, just one email, one phone call, or one talk, like you said now brilliantly, one compliment, right? And for me also, one genuine smile, and even one question, how are you? It can change really your life, and it can even better change life of the person you are interacting with. So amazing. And could you please share also a couple of advices? Because I know you have very special with you don't call him stepdad, you call him dad now, which they adopted you when you said 16 or 14.
Yeah, 16. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do love this story that you've been sharing, that about the one but most profound advice he gave to you, and that you're staying through the life with his. I know what the advice, but I want you to tell to our audience about this advice which you're actually following.
So the advice that my father gave me when I turned 18 was show up no matter what. In every way in life. If you're tired, if you're broke, if you're sad, if you're happy, no matter what, if you say you're going to show up and show up your best self and show up for others in respect of having an agreement with yourself of discipline And it's so funny that a lot of people don't do that. You know, it's so easy to say, you know, I'm not going to go to that event tonight. I've had a long day. But when you do the, I'm going to go anyway. And I've had these days where I'm driving my car after a long day of work and I don't want to go at all, but I go. And then I end up connecting with somebody who changes my life again. And it's like, wow, I didn't even want to go, but I went anyway. I showed up. Right. So every time you show up, I've learned, like, I was at the President of the United States house on Thursday night, Mar-a-Lago, and I was exhausted and dealing with it. And I was just like, yeah, we're going to show up. And I made some connections that are going to change my life again here. And it's just showing up. You know,
Mhm.
I you give a small talk, you shake some hands, and showing up, that's where the power is. Showing up authentically and genuinely is the power.
Exactly. That's why I wanted actually to add a little bit. It's exactly what beautifully you are displaying how, because showing up, it's of course it's already a great skill that you know, no matter what, that never give up, and actually also yes to put a little bit extra, but also to show up how. And I do love the idea how you again cited that when you're showing up, but before actually enter in the room, your ego is showing up, then it's another approach. If actually you know that you are approaching with open heart, you want to help people, and you brilliantly said that quote that actually when you are there for people, especially on the stage, you want not just them hearing you, but they want them to connect with you, and they want actually, you want that they should feel you as well. Because when you walk in with your ego, then you immediately become unapproachable, right? So, and many people, they do believe it's kind of strength to come and show up with like maybe they even don't know it's ego, it's kind of strength, or be play the role who you actually not are, then showing up maybe even can, like, you know, cause some damage. But what do you think about actually the ego stuff, how we especially should again teach our young kids, because Instagram teach completely other stuff, that you should always be so cool, everything should be like, you know, so perfect, and then it's ego based, right?
Yeah, I think ego, if used incorrectly, could be an enemy. I did experience it where, you know, you're young, you start making money, you have this thing called status, and then you think that your shit doesn't stink when it really does. And you're not the man with that stuff. You've been given the opportunity to help people and inspire people. That's all the reality of it is. And I've learned you're either humble or you're about to be. And boy, was I humbled, and I'm so grateful for it, because when you get humbled, it's you get knocked on your behind, and you have to realize this: where did I go wrong? Right? Like every time something doesn't go my way, I look myself in the mirror. I go, what did I do wrong? Where am I wrong here? What can I learn in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at everything as an opportunity to learn, then you are going to excel in life. A loss or a setback or a lesson or something, a life event happens, look at it as a lesson and figure out how you can learn from it and be better to apply it. That's all life is. There's no pouting. There's no, oh, woe is me, this is hard. No, it's an opportunity to learn. And I also look at everything as a test. So I'm like a bring it on kind of guy. Like, what can I learn, and I'll bring it on. So, you know, nothing's perfect. If you could find a perfect human, I'd love to meet him, because I know they don't exist. And trying to do all this stuff to get people to like you is kind of, I've learned, kind of hilarious, because all you have to do is be yourself. You don't need
Mm-hmm.
a fancy car, you don't need a fancy watch, you don't need a fancy suit, you don't need anything. You just got to be yourself. You just got to be human. You got to be approachable and humble, for sure.
Yeah. Exactly, and it takes so many years for some people to arrive to this point, and people, you know, some people they never arrive to that. Brilliantly, thank you so much for your very wise advices. You know, now I'm going through some questions, because I will be participating in one show which is called Mentors Talk, and I'm a mentor coach for executives as well. And again, for me, I do believe some really high profile executives, they kind of sometimes struggle with their ego, if they should have their peers and they should actually apply or go to coach, I don't know, it's not therapy, but to to be involved with mentor sessions. What do you believe about these top high profile actually executives? Do they need mentors? Everybody need mentorship, or
Yeah, everybody needs a mentor. I think I wouldn't be where I am, how I am, who I am without the mentors I've had.
Mhm,
I I think it's something that's so looked past. If you ask anybody successful in any regard, a mentor is everything. It's somebody who's already stepped in the shit and is gonna tell you don't walk there, walk here, and here's why. Because
mhm,
a wise man learns from someone else's mistakes, a smart man learns from his own, and having the power of having a mentor is like a rocket launcher to skip a bunch of steps and have a huge paradigm shift in a way where you're unlocking things 10 years before you should because you're learning from somebody else's lessons instead of having to go through that trail. So as long as you get a mentor and you learn from them and you listen to them and you apply, the world
mhm.
is yours. It's everything. If you don't have a mentor, get one. Is the honest truth.
Do you have a mentor now?
I do. I do. My mentor is David Meltzer.
Yeah, I understood that. That's why I understood that. Of course, then you are a lucky guy. You have so well known, of course, and powerful mentor. Um,
Yes.
and I know that he loves you back so much, and he's so proud of you. And I love so much how you call him Uncle.
Uncle Dave.
Yeah, Uncle David.
Yeah.
It's like family relationship, and I do believe when he like answer you so much like pride, and then he's like, I love you, I'm so proud of you, and you have my back. It's yeah, I could see this episode actually so many times because I already know the words, but this interaction, because everything knows about energy and frequency in this world, we know as well. So I can like feel immediately, though it was your guys just also on remote, like we are talking now. Amazing. Our show its diversity is the game changer, right? And last year, I know it was kind of backlash in the US, and it was DEI, and everybody was even scared to talk about this when I invited to the show. But other people was even more proactive because they do believe that, of course, we need diversity as much as biodiversity. And my greatest passion is yours. It's actually neurodiversity, cognitive diversity. And many people, they even didn't hear the term neurodiversity, though it was coined by Judy Singer in 80s, right? And it's easy like that all of us actually have brain which is wired differently. And I do believe it's so beautiful, it's super power, exactly what you are doing. But how um, have you heard, are you using when you're actually talking and giving your message, spreading the the term neurodiversity, or you just like say about dyslexia, like this term, and what's your actually approach uh, about other neurodivergence, right? And I know that for me it's the way to show that we are extra creative, extra some. What's your message when you try to give the people who actually they are not that much aware about neurodivergence? It's now why I'm asking. I want to learn from you. Maybe I can steal some hidden gems when I'm preaching about neurodiversity. Okay, let's be honest. You are
So
my mentor now.
So with neurodivergency, I've never actually dropped that term, but
Mhm,
I've always never claimed to be an expert on a subject. So when I speak about dyslexia in schools, I make it extremely clear.
mhm,
I'm not an expert on dyslexia itself, but I'm an expert on living with it. I
mhm,
could not be more clear. And understanding that those who struggle with dyslexia, if they understand that it forces you to think creatively to just survive in the academic setting, and then when you get out of school you can use that creative side of your brain as a tool to excel and create and build what you want, and
mhm,
then it is really a superpower, it is not a disability, then the world is yours. I think that a lot of people use the word disability as an unable to do so, and I always tell people that disability is different ability.
mhm,
You cannot do more or less than me, and I can't do more or less than you, but you know some things I don't, and I know some things you don't. So everything becomes a skill when you or figure out how you can leverage your uniqueness. and the
Mhm.
perspectives that you have with whatever you're struggling with your neurodivergency, with your dyslexia, with your ADHD, with your OCD, with your dysgraphia, whatever it is, there's a power in it if you learn how to leverage it.
Yes, exactly. Beautiful. Um, about gender and ethnic diversity, just a little bit. How do you think that why organizations still really struggle to truly value different ways of thinking and actually different people? How we can make more inclusive societies? Is it anyway? Any thoughts about that?
I think people need to be a little more open minded.
Mm-hmm.
I've had talks with school teachers and parents, and I had to get it across to the teachers in a way where I said, you guys are going by the book with your students, but if this was your kid, how would you approach the situation? And now the entire conversation has shifted a 180.
Mm-hmm.
As the teacher's like, I'm a teacher, I'm just a teacher, I'm doing what I need to for this class.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And then you go, what if this was your kid that was struggling? What are we doing then? Well, that's different. Well, what if this kid was in your class? Well, what if we start attacking the class like it's a class full of your kids? Well, now it's a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that perspective, you understand that we're all just humans, and all people need, and a lot of people, all they need to excel is to be seen, heard, or feel supported. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. That doesn't cost money at all.
No, exactly, exactly. Actually, the most profound basic thing they really don't cost money, like empathy, right, and care, and like discipline as well. Everything what is, yeah. So, what do you believe like real inclusion look like actually beyond policies, slogans? What how leadership actually can thrive on people who are different? If leaders have to be really like proactive, my advocacy to talk about difference between diversity presence, they do believe recruiting it's enough, right? But actually then it should be like really proactive managerial approach. What leadership has to do, then it's called diversity management. How do you believe what kind of like practical tools you and me we could advise to people who actually would like to evolve more uh, the diversity demographic?
In my work experience in corporate and becoming a CEO, I think I've learned that a boss will build an organization and a leader will build people. And usually the leader that builds people ends up being 10 times more successful than the boss building an organization. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you're a boss building an organization, you end up smacking your head on this thing called the glass ceiling. And when you're a leader, like I tell people that I'm not here to build businesses, I'm here to build people and communities. And those people and communities support me and help me build my businesses. It all comes back to the person. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to be open minded enough to listen to people. And you also have to be supportive enough to give somebody an opportunity or a chance.
Exactly, like you've been on, yeah. Amazing. Is there any special message you want to give to our audience, which also neurodivergent so many different things? Maybe you have special story, because I know you also on the stage you show like brilliantly also like kind of stories which are very encouraging, inspirational, because we know everything actually the best about storytelling, they're the most powerful, because when we just discuss topic people can watch, but it's kind of dry and a little bit like you expert on subjects. But always when we like we present the subject, oh, I want to share a story, special story from my life, that's actually has the longest legs. Like people maybe don't remember that much all this stuff, but some stories, real stories from your life, they can really be like epic. And I know that I could hear some stories when you were presenting on the stage. So maybe in all of that, you would like to bring particular story from your life or your friend or somebody which can be related and inspirational for this subject.
Yeah, yeah. So I was interviewing a Grammy Award winning R&B artist, goes by the name of Justin Love, in a studio in New York City,
Mhm.
and I mean it was somebody I wanted to interview for 5 years, and I stopped reaching out to him, and I just watched him for 5 years. Like it'll never happen, and I don't know what happened. I went and spoke on some stage or something happened, some big event, and Next thing you know, he followed me, sent me a DM, and I was gonna have him speak at my event. He couldn't make the event, and I brought up the idea of a podcast. He said, "Let's do it." And then I rented the studio and hired a whole team, and it was amazing. And I thought in my head that he'll come in, he'll do the interview, he'll leave. He's this big star, and he came in. He did the interview, he stayed, and we ended up getting matching tattoos that say "You are enough" because we both connect with that message. And we made this whole other video and vlog and inspirational video of us getting matching tattoos that say "You are enough." And then we ended up going to dinner that night. And then I went back to his studio, which was an incredibly inspirational experience. And I have people reaching out to my mother and my brother and me and my mentor talking about how the video of us getting matching tattoos that say "You are enough" because of how we both learned that and how it's touching people is so crazy because the whole idea was the podcast was going to touch people, but the video of us getting tattoos made a huge impact. So you never know what it's going to be. And every time that it takes longer than you want it to, there's a reason, right? Like I probably wasn't ready 5 years ago to interview such a star. But when it happened beautifully and it was bigger than we both expected.
Exactly. I love the story, and I could see also your exactly connection when you were interviewing, and then like about manifestation and everything. I also could, because like you said, it's exactly like, it's not just dreaming about it, it's working, it's to be dedicated. And I remember how you asked him, like, but what about direction? Who was your mentors? Who you teach? He's like, no, you know what? I exactly know how it should be. I manifested, and it's better to be done in that way. I don't know how, but it will be done by that way. You should manifest, but not just manifest. You have to work, because many people, they believe that you should just dream, manifest, and sit and wait. It doesn't happen this way, right?
No.
That timing, it's very important, of course, because by that time you should have experience, skills, all that. It's very important that the door should be open at the right time, right? But you have to manifest and work towards this door. Exactly. And then the universe can hear you. Amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. And where is this tattoo? Can you show me? Or it's where is this tattoo?
Oh, it is "You are enough." So
Okay. Cool. I love it.
yeah.
I'm asking myself because you see about manifestation. Look at my hands.
Yeah.
You see, and they're also very special, and a very special occasion. And this one, last one, it was I was keynote speaker in global summit in Brazil, and we had three girls of us, three keynote speaker. We went after keynote speaking, like what we can do crazy in Sao Paulo after this huge like event. And I said we go and take our tattoo, and we did all that. It's like inner peace, this namaste. So also like and this is do everything with love. I also, because I'm working a lot like this, and then immediately it's also kind of manifestation. So now I know what you're talking about. I love that. Cool. So before we wrapping up the show, I would like to invite, how you said, the whole team. And I want to invite one member from my team. I want to invite my vice president, though I didn't warn you that we will be not just you and me. And at that moment people like, oh, okay, we are actually trio. And then I pull out this beautiful girl. You see her?
Yes.
Can you see it? You know what it is, right?
Yes, as a genie.
Yes, this is Jenny Lamb from Aladdin. It's a beautiful pinky resilient lady, which actually is so tough because she has also a mission, almost like you, to help million people. You understand? And she wants to grant the wishes. Maybe she cannot grant three wishes how it was in Aladdin, because she wants to help as many guests as possible. Yes, but one wish, that's for sure. So now it's the time for my vice president, this one, to find out about Dylan's wish, to make it true. I know you will be doing that and manifesting, and you can achieve everything by yourself, but still, we have to believe in magic, right? And we need
Yes.
fears. So,
So what
yeah,
is my wish?
yeah,
My wish is in the next year to be able to own real estate and really get to a point where my book is best selling so I can spend my time traveling the world speaking with kids, leaders, conferences. And I love that I work in Wall Street, but I'm ready to do this full time and because it's my passion and it's never felt like work. So my wish is to have a system and income in a way where I can travel and impact lives for a living.
Beautifully. And then I'm joining me, and I'm sure her joining this very powerful journey which you are doing, so important for so many people. So thank you so much for again being you, showing up no matter what, showing up authentically with empathy, not with your ego, being such a great role model. I hope one day you and me we can meet in stage and actually give a hug to each other.
Yes.
It will be magical moment for me, and I hope for you as well. So thank you for um, having your time, presence, and focus, and all your beautiful recommendations, insights today. I wish really all the luck um, with all your these projects. And you mentioned your book. Are you finished with book, or you're just in the process, or?
We're in the final processes, so it's in editing now, and then it will come out here hopefully in a month. It's called The Words Are Backwards, You're Not. It's a love letter to those who struggle with dyslexia.
Oh, wow. Okay. So then, of course, I wish you a great launch. And if you anytime need any kind of support, help, or anything from me, so please, I will be more than happy to do that. And
Of
my
course.
beautiful person, thank you for staying with us in this episode, which is greatest reminder that our diversity, especially neurocognitive diversity is so powerful. It's our uniqueness. United, we are stronger, but being really different. It's not about fitting in, really. It's staying authentic. It's about recognizing that everything what actually makes us different is the source of our greatest impact. So tune in, open your mind, let this conversation challenge how you see ability, leadership, human potential, because diversity isn't just important, it's really the game changer. Thank you, Dylan, so much, and
Of
have a
course.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, and bye bye.